Aloha everyone and welcome to Ukulele Underground University Ukulele 101, week number 7. My name is Aldrin Guerrero, and as per usual, I'm joined by the awesome Mr. Aaron the Voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And the ever so lovely Mr. Kahai Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
And we are all here today. It is week number 7. We've gone over the hump. We are past the halfway point here on Ukulele 101. So today, week number 7, we're going to be covering chords, all right? Because, we've been covering a lot of the technique stuff. I know we worked on some rolls, we worked on the finger picking patterns and whatnot. So now let's add more chords so that you can, you can play a lot more stuff with the new techniques that you've learned throughout the weeks, okay? So chords. This is how it's going to go down, all right? We're going to be going over bar chords. So I get a lot of questions, especially from beginners, about bar chords and how how you hold them properly. So there is some pros and cons of some of the stuff that people are doing, and we want to be able to steer you guys in the right path so that you don't develop early bad habits. Okay, so we want to be able to correct those right off the bats. And this is how we're going to be doing it. So we're going to be showing you folks ways to to hold bar chords without hurting yourself, because a lot of people tell us that, like, okay, well, I'm holding these, my hands get crampy and this and that. So we'll be going over that on the first section. All right. We're also going to be showing you more chords. All right. So after the bar chords, we'll be showing you some chords that you can use in association with the bar chords. So we got the bar chords going on, but we'll show you more chords so we can switch from one to the other. All right. And you'll learn some new stuff. We're also going to be going over more chords. So we're going to give you more chords that will actually be in association with the chords that you've learned in the past. So the new bar chords that we're going to show you are going to work with the more chords, and the even more chords we're going to show you so that you can mix it in with the with the C, G, F, and all that stuff that you learned in the past. Okay, and we'll also be giving you some homework, a little bit more about that later on. But basically, we're going to show you some new chord progressions for you guys to work on. Okay, so let's get started. So first off, bar chords right here. B minor 7 is going to be your first bar chord that you're going to learn on Ukulele 101. So for our B7 bar chord, is just going to be barring the 2nd fret, okay? So let's just start off with simple things like this where we're just kind of barring one thing. I know some of you folks have heard of like the dreaded E chord or the B flat chord, but one thing at a time. We're just going to go over just using one finger for now, okay? And this one finger is going to be barring over the 2nd fret. So here's my advice for you folks. Sorry, there's a little lump in my throat. Your pointer finger, I like to either take just the pad of my pointer finger. You know how you use the tip of your pointer finger to play the chords, right? So when you're playing C, you're using the tip of your fingers. So what I used to do was I used to take my pointer finger and then play, for example, an A minor chord, so a G string 2nd fret like this, and I just like to form my finger around it like that. But I've noticed that when I put my finger down, I'm losing the pressure that I'm putting on the G string, which now sounds like this. Okay? Because when you place your finger down like so, this is kind of how I used to explain it, but when you place it down, this pressure is going to release. You can see it right here. So when I place it down, see, like that pressure releases from the tip of my fingers. So from the tip, it goes away like this. Okay, so what I like to do is actually go from the bottom now to the top, like so. Okay, so I like to take my my 2nd knuckle or the middle knuckle of my finger, and I just kind of like to roll that right here underneath the fretboard, and where it's comfortable for me, maybe underneath that, like this. So the the knuckle is over here. Is over the top, or you can just do it right in the middle, wherever is comfortable for you. So everyone's comfort point is going to be different, or comfort zone is going to be different. So I like to either use the middle, or I like to go over, depending on what chord that I'm playing. If I'm playing with the rest of my fingers for different chords, I'm going to be using that knuckle going up more, and then I can form my chords around it. But if it's just the B minor, I like to use it right in the middle. So that's right underneath there. So the pad of the 2nd part of my finger. So we have the first pad right here, of our fingers, and then the second pad right here. So this is going to be what's going to hold the A and E strings like so. And then the top pad is going to be holding the C and G strings. So if you notice from this angle, the tip of my pointer finger is up here. It's no longer using this tip for the G and then going down. See how much pressure we lose. So although we can still get that note, we have to make our finger kind of bend like this in order to get that note out. But we want our fingers just nice, natural, and straight, just relaxed, okay? We don't like tense it up and make it super straight. Just have it, kind of relaxed. So you want to relax, place the ball of our main knuckle, and then just contour it over like this. Okay, so ball of your knuckle, contour it over like so. All right, and then how do we hold it from the back? Your thumb shouldn't be pinching this chord, because if you pinch this chord, you're definitely going to be putting a little bit more pressure on your pointer finger. So this is how much pressure you should put. The thumb should only be used to hold this thing in place. So remember how we mentioned how putting our forearm on the ukulele kind of gives that motion of it going forward. So if we use that, use the knuckle of your second knuckle of your finger as as your starting point, and then just move it back. Your thumb, that should be enough pressure right there. I mean, I could play my bar chord with enough pressure. See, I'm not even holding my thumb back here, but just enough pressure to push the ukulele back like so, and guide it with your thumb. So you're not full pinching, you're just kind of holding it in place. As if, let's see, if I were to pick up my ukulele like so, if I were to use my thumb and my pointer finger to pick up my ukulele, that should be the amount of pressure that you should put onto your chords, okay? Because in order to pick up my ukulele, I'm not full on like squeezing the uke to pick it up, right? You just use your two fingers and you just pick it up naturally, okay? So that should be the amount of pressure that you use on your bar chords. So I'm using the knuckle. So that should be it. Okay, it's just enough pressure to pick up your ukulele. So just like if I were to use my right hand, just to give you guys an idea, place it on the proper frets and just guide it from the back, just enough to keep your ukulele in place, or to hold your ukulele in place like this. That should be enough pressure for the bar chord. All right. So it's not full pinching. I know, in the past we've taught it in a way where like, okay, you're just gonna make this this pinching kind of thing, which is still correct. You're still going to be making this same motion, but the pressure on that pinch is not as much as, say, a normal pinch. If you're pinching somebody's cheek or something, like that's not the same amount of pressure. It's just enough that you hold your ukulele in place like so. So if I were to take my B minor chord like this, it should be enough to keep my finger there in place. So it's not like the pressure is not so little that like it slips like this. You see how my fingers will slip? It's enough pressure to keep it in place on that second fret, and that should be enough. So if you take your two fingers on your left hand, your pointer and your thumb, okay, and you place it like that for your B minor 7 chord, and you hold it in place, that should be enough pressure. Shouldn't be any more than that. So when you play it, it's gonna come out. All right. I'm not, putting too much, but just enough, like so. Okay. But if it's, if you're one of those really strong people that can hold it in place, but if you try it out, then it's still not going, put a little bit more pressure until you hear the sound. And then once you find that nice, that nice spot, the sweet spot to hold it, then it's gonna be a lot better. And what I like to use too is my middle finger can keep it in place as well. So my middle finger can go over it like this to just help support it. So I'm not holding it or anything, I'm just keeping it in place like this. See my ukulele just kind of floating up like so. That should be the amount of pressure that you put on. All right, and let's move on to the C sharp minor 7. That's basically just moving it up 2 frets. So we're now borrowing the 4th fret instead. Same amount of pressure, same position with your thumb. So people also ask me, where do we put the thumb? You can put your thumb basically anywhere. Like I said, all you need to do is to support this pointer finger, pulling back the ukulele like this. Okay, so that's the amount of pressure that you need. So if your thumb is good here, or up here, or like right behind it, wherever you can put your thumb, wherever you can position it, like like this, or you can position it like this. As long as you're supporting your pointer finger to hold that chord, it should be fine. Because later on, you're gonna find that when you do other chords, your thumb is gonna be back here. Your thumb is going to be over here. It's going to be in a lot of different places depending on what chord you're going to go to next. And that's why we want to show you folks more chords so we can kind of analyze where our thumb position is going to be. So if I were to, a lot of people ask me for that kind of advice. And if I were to give them advice, well, like, okay, your thumb has to be kind of right directly behind your pointer finger, which is correct in this. But if you're going to be, using that for every single bar chord that you do, it might not work as well with other chords, okay? So for example, I might have a bar chord like a minor 7 like this, so my A minor 7 chord. My thumb might be a little bit more comfortable back here on the 1st fret instead, instead of directly behind the pointer finger. Although it can work that way as well, but for me to get to my comfort zone, it's going to be different. So experiment where your thumb feels most comfortable. Okay? So when you're doing your C sharp minor 7 chord, look at where my thumb is. It's like not right behind. It's just a little bit, it's a little bit back here on the 3rd fret. I can put it here, that's totally fine, but this is fine as well. As long as I'm holding it up, see, like I let my hand go again. As long as I'm holding this chord in place, okay? So don't worry too much about your thumb position in the back. As long as the pad of your thumb is on the back of the neck, holding it in place, it's just there to support your pointer finger. It's not there so that you're pinching. Once again, don't pinch too hard on that bar chord. So it's not there to help you pinch that chord in place. It's just there to help your pointer finger stay in place. Not to pinch, but to stay in place. So it can be here, it can be here. You're still playing that, that bar chord. There's no wrong, position. It's just a matter of where your comfort zone is for your thumb. Okay, so these are your 2 new chords, B minor 7 and C sharp minor 7. Are there any questions from our folks here on UU Plus or anybody on the YouTubes? And while we're getting the questions ready, do you guys have anything else that you want to add to this?
If you feel like your hand is cramping, like that, especially that muscle right here, right?
Yeah.
I'm pointing to it.
Yeah, this right here, he's pointing to.
Yeah, if you feel like that's cramping, like from any chord, it's probably because you're pinching too much with your thumb and your whatever finger you're using.
Yeah, no squeezing. Don't squeeze. Yeah.
And and it'll definitely help if you pull it instead of pinching it.
Yeah.
You're pulling with your arm.
Yeah.
So whenever people say oh, I have such a hard time and it hurts, or I have carpal tunnel, especially if you have carpal tunnel.
Yeah, it's gonna make it worse.
Yeah, and then that is something that's so easy is if you just use your arm instead of your hand.
Right.
You're using less.
It's the same thing. Somebody on the YouTube chat just said that when I keep playing bar chords, my thumb starts hurting.
Yeah.
And so
it's a lot of it is because they're using their thumb first, and then using their pointer finger to do the chord. By that point, your thumb is already putting too much pressure,
Yeah.
And then
so
it should be more pulling back with your pointer finger and just supporting with the thumb back here.
Yeah.
So
the
thumb
sure
is
your right forearm.
Yeah, right forearm is in place. Yeah.
Doing the counterbalance.
Yeah, counterbalance. Yeah, exactly. So it's here. See that? My pointer. So I can play this bar chord even without my thumb.
Yeah. So that should alleviate a lot of the
so the
pressure
thumb,
on your thumb.
Yeah, the thumb is just there to hold it in place. It's not there for you to to squeeze the chord. I like to think of it. I was thinking about this too. Is like when you shake a guy's hand or you shake a person's hand, you're not full on like squeezing their hand. You're not giving them a limp hand instead. It's just enough pressure that you shake their hand, right? That's enough pressure to be effective. And that's the same exact thing with your bar chord. You don't want to put too much pressure, and you don't want your fingers to go limp either. All right. So you want to you want a nice good handshake, not too firm and not not squeezing or whatever, but not limp either. So it's just a nice good handshake. That should be the amount of pressure.
That's where you can do a tech check, or not a tech check, a string check, right? Like you check, like, am I evenly distributing the pressure to the strings?
Yeah.
And then if it's like ringing, then you add a little bit more, but you don't want to add so much, right?
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, and then Jack said, so when finger picking during a bar chord, do you use your thumb for more pressure because you can't have your arm pushing down, your right arm pushing down, right? Like you can't have it doing the counterbalance with your hand arched over the sound hole.
I don't think so, because using your when you're doing finger picking pattern, using your pinky finger down like this, so there's already pressure going going down. You still keep your forearm on the ukulele. It's not like you're lifting your forearm like this to to do the to do this like the finger picking. You're not finger picking like this. You still keep your forearm in position. You're using your pinky finger down here, and same thing. I can still like finger pick this bar chord, and it's coming out without the use of my thumb. It's the same exact thing. I'm still using my pointer finger to push back. My forearm is still in this position. It's still like kind of pushing forward. Okay, so like this. My pinky goes down. It's kind of like that. So pointer finger down. I mean, don't interpret it as I'm using my pinky finger to do the counterbalance. The pointer finger is still doing the counterbalance. The pinky is just there to help put it in place. But most of the counterbalance comes from your forearm, and just a little bit, maybe just the top part coming from your pinky. But you don't, because you don't want to hurt your pinky either. Your pinky is just there to keep it in place. Your pointer finger is what's keeping it down this way.
I think it's because you taught that you switch positions from strumming to finger picking. So
strumming to finger picking, you do it down here, right? But you still have your forearm down. You're not lifting your forearm up to do finger picking. Your forearm is still on the ukulele. So although you're doing finger picking over the sound hole and then doing the strumming, you're just moving your forearm from
slight repositioning
of your forearm. You're not lifting up. So it's still same amount of pressure going on the back or the bottom end of the ukulele from my large part of my forearm to the skinnier part of my forearm, the less larger part of my forearm. Okay, so very, 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 very important, because I can't count how many emails and questions that we get about holding bar chords and holding them correctly. But it all starts out with just one finger. I know a lot of people want to tackle like B flat and E and all those A minor 7, that kind of chord shapes. But for now, it's good to just start off with B minor 7 and C sharp minor 7 to just kind of give you an idea of how much pressure your fingers should be putting on your strings when you hold bar chords. And then from so step at a time. So from there you move on to the next step. You might want to do like a full B minor, so using your pointer finger to do the bar chord, and then ring finger at the top for like a full B minor instead of a B minor 7. So with just learning how to hold your bar chords is going to help you a lot in the long run, holding down those E chords, those B flat chords, and maybe like bar chords like F or B flat and things like that. Okay, so one thing at a time, just like with this, one finger at a time. Okay, so these are your two new chords: B minor 7, C sharp minor 7. Okay, there's no. Huh?
Or I think with like any of the bar chords, like people they feel like they're having a hard time like pressing all the strings, so that's why they add more pressure. Yeah. But really, like with like all the bar chords, with these bar chords, and then with E, and then with B flat and everything, it's more about like the distribution of pressure, right? Like than actually applying, like how much you apply.
Yeah.
It's about how evenly you place your fingers down.
Oh, also, yeah, I don't want to miss this too. You know, you can hold these chords, you know, by putting it directly on it, but sometimes it helps to use, you know, to move it a little bit to the side like this, because some people's knuckles might get in the way. You know, if you're using it, or you're holding the chord kind of dead on like this, you can actually use the side of your fingers. You can move it a little bit, not like full on to the side like this, but just tilt it a little bit. Might alleviate some pressure. Maybe some people's knuckles might be a little bit much, might bulge out a little bit. So by tilting it a little bit towards the headstock, alleviates a lot of that as well. Okay, so it's just very, very, very slight. I know that helped me a lot when I'm doing my B flat chords. Notice my pointer fingers like this for my B flat chord. So later on, when we hold different chords, you're going to be shifting this finger around anyway. Okay, so it might be more comfortable for some people to to have a little bit of a lean towards the headstock to free up whatever knuckle that you might be constructing on this side.
Yeah, and also make sure that the main knuckle is not on.
Yeah. The main knuckle is not on not on any of this. Well, I guess it's kind of on the E, and then it's just down like that. Or this pointer.
No,
Not the main knuckle. Yeah, sorry, not the main knuckle. Yeah, the main knuckle's down here. I'm just kind of using it as a down here, like I said before, going from the bottom and then forming that chord.
So like even though you're doing like from the bottom to the top, you don't want like the top to overextend, because that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because then that usually causes people problems too, right?
Yeah.
With it dampens the A string, right? So you can't hear it.
Yeah. So some people's fingers might be a bit short and whatever, so you're gonna have to compensate for that and just lift up a little bit like so. But if you do end up having to go over where the main knuckle is, use that trick of of leaning a little bit towards the headstock like so. So you get more of like the flesh and not the bone part of that knuckle. So if you had to, only if you really have to, and you have one of those really small. Yeah, but they don't.
Most people's hands are big enough because it's an ukulele. It's not
right. Yeah, this is a tenor uke, so it's a little bit on the bigger side too. So
one of the other tricks like that I saw on a comment actually was that somebody said play more towards the fret wire instead of playing like directly in the middle of the frets.
Yeah.
Because that's what some people think, like, oh, I gotta play like right in the middle, right? But then if you play more towards the wire, it'll make like you have to press down even less. So
yeah.
So,
but not too close. Not
Not
all right?
on it, but like closer.
I know we spent a lot of time on this, but this is honestly the one of the most important steps for you folks currently right now. So at this point on Ukulele 101, this is very, 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 very important. Okay? All right, so let's, is there any more?
Was there any questions from YouTube, Aaron?
No. Okay, so let's move on. So we want to add more chords. Like I said, I want you guys to have fun with it, with the B minor 7 and C sharp minor chords that we got, or that we just showed you. And at this point, you could actually learn your first Ukulele Underground play along song. Okay, so our first more chord is going to be an A. So middle finger goes on the G string 2nd fret, pointer finger C string 1st fret. So just like usual, we have that kind of rainbow looking claw thing with our pointer finger. So you see how the rainbow goes, and it's not touching any other strings. So make sure you're holding the right chord. And I'm using the the tip of my fingers. I'm using my fingertips to play that chord. Okay. And next up, what we're gonna do? We're gonna switch. The Filipino accent came out. We're gonna switch the middle finger and the pointer finger like this for our E7 chord. See right here, the G and the A, the G and the C string. We're gonna do it backwards like this. So your pointer finger is on the G string 1st fret, middle finger is on the C string 2nd fret this time. And our ring finger is gonna go on the A string 2nd fret. So what I like to do here is I like to swing my wrist around like this. So just kind of open up the room, because you have your middle finger and your ring finger, on the same fret. So just kind of free up some room, swing that wrist to the side like this. All right, so with that, you can already play one of my favorite songs to play for the Aloha Friday Live jams. You can play this song, Drop Baby Drop. So if you get those bar chords down, Drop Baby Drop will be available, or is going to be accessible to you, okay? Because the chords to Drop Baby Drop would just be A, then you move on to your C sharp minor, and then down to your C sharp minor 7, sorry, then down to your B minor 7, and then end with your E7. Okay, so I'll give you guys some tips on how to switch. Okay, so from here, when you go to the A and you're doing a switch to the C sharp minor 7, keep your pointer finger there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my pointer finger up. Notice that? So from here, it's on the C currently, and it's just going to shift up to the to the G. I'm lifting up on my middle finger. See, there's not much movement, and then getting ready for that C sharp minor. So these are things that you guys might want to start taking a look at. What's the most effective way to go to go from one chord to the other. So for me, A to C sharp minor, or even B minor, if you want to switch to your B minor, we're doing the same thing. We're just rolling this pointer finger up to that G string. So we're not completely letting it go and then placing it on another string. So later on, when you're doing different chords, you want to figure out the best way to get from that chord to another. Okay. And I know I talked about clean chord switching and doing that lift, but I also talked about keeping that doing the air chords. Okay, so when you take your pointer finger, remember I said kind of slide it to the G string. Do that without touching the string. So go from touching and sliding the string down like this to not doing it at all. So you just have your pointer finger ready, but without actually touching the string. So you can have that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm still doing the same movement of taking my pointer finger, putting it up here, like switching my pointer finger like this. So I'm working on this switch from A to that bar chord all the way up to the C sharp minor 7. And then to the B minor 7, I'm just sliding back down. And then to switch over to the E7, I just take my pointer finger, I just slide it back down like this so that it's on the G string first fret. And then like I mentioned, air chords, right? So B minor 7 from here, I already have my air chord ready for the E7. So those are things that you guys might want to start taking a look at, is how to effectively go from one chord to another. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'll do it even slower. So watch the movement of my fingers. I am gonna lift up, but I'm not fully releasing them off of the fretboard. I'm just lifting up a little bit, but getting the air chord ready. So once I go from the A to the C sharp minor, there's not a lot of movements on my fingers. Like I'm not completely changing the chord, the shape or whatever, the shape of the chord around. This is going from here to the C sharp minor, then lift a little bit, but still keeping that air chord shape. B minor 7, air chord shape to the E7. See, it's kind of, I don't know if any of you folks have ever taken karate before, but it's like the most amount of impact with the least amount of movements. So you want to be able to get to those chords without struggling. And it's actually not that bad. It's just subtle movements going from one chord to another. Okay? And it'll be once you get to music theory, it's going to be a lot easier to understand. We're like, okay, well, it's not a lot of movement because all the notes are basically the same because they're all in the same key or the same scale. So for now, practice moving to and from chords to the next chord, and with as little effort as possible. Okay, because you want to be able to get from one chord to another. right? With with ease. So at this point, you can check out the lesson for drop, baby, drop, and you can substitute just a simple down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, which was one of our featured strumming patterns in the earlier weeks of 101. So you can do down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down. Okay? And I mean, I'm just using Drop Baby Drop as an example, but this song could be any song. This song is a million songs. Maybe not a million songs. There's a lot of songs that that you can play with that. But that's just like an example of a chord progression that you can use for a lot of different things.
Honey Baby is another one, right?
Yeah,
like
Honey Baby.
Exact chord.
And then you can also do like if you want, you can play it's late in the evening. She's wondering what clothes to wear.
Oh, different key.
Yeah, but different key. But that's what I mean. It's just this is not just for Honey Baby or whatever. I'm just not Honey Baby, but Drop Baby Drop. But I'm kind of just using it as an example where like that those 4 chords can be a lot of different songs. So at this point, you can play a bunch of different tunes just by doing that chord progression. Just chords that you learned today. All right. So I want you guys to practice A, E7, B minor 7, C sharp minor 7. Because honestly, when I started playing the ukulele, this was the first song with or the first chord progression, I should say, with bar chords in it. I didn't really use bar chords up until I used the chord progression of A, C sharp minor 7, B minor 7, and E7. Okay, so I want to be able to share with you folks how I grew as an ukulele player, and that's pretty much how I did it. Just using that one, and then later on I got to the to the B flat chord. But let's take it easy. So just this one, have fun with that, and yeah, let's move on. Any questions?
I think for a lot of us in Hawaii, that was like the first song to to play with bar chords.
With bar chords,
and you get by a lot with just like C, G7, F.
So
RCG.
yeah, I wanted to go that same route, so for Ukulele 101, because this is kind of a where we're trying to give you guys a fresh new take on 101. I want to be able to share my personal experiences with you folks and when I first started learning the ukulele. And since that was my first bar chord song that I learned, I want that same experience for you folks, so you can have the same kind of natural progression onto ukulele as we experience here in Hawaii. Just like what Kahai said, this is basically his and many other people's first songs with bar chords. So this is like getting a legit Hawaiian experience, or like living or growing up in Hawaii kind of experience learning the ukulele. So that's a little fun fact for you folks. Okay, any questions from the chat or anything like that?
Not from our plus chat. I don't know from YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah,
So.
no.
Huh?
Oh well, I kind of wanted to say, like, for me, I can't hold the A chord with my thumb in the back. So I would have to have it
Up here?
Yeah. So I'd have to switch from that to
this.
putting
Okay.
So I know a lot of people have trouble with that switch, moving your thumb.
Is this because sometimes I do that too, like if I'm getting kind of tired and whatever, and I don't like putting it down here.
Yeah.
It's like, so
I feel like I can't even hold it.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more effort. Yeah, it does. That's a good point. So some people like to use their thumb up here, for that A chord, and then switching it back down for that C sharp minor chord. So you're still doing the same movement with your pointer finger and middle finger, where you're lifting up on your middle finger to switch, and then pointer finger just kind of slides over to that chord. But see if you can practice with your thumb position, whatever feels more comfortable for you folks. So from there, sliding down. So it's just one swift movement. I'll do it from this angle. To that. To that.
It seems like you have to like let go of your or like kind of lift up your thumb first before you like start moving anything.
Yeah, so for the lift, actually, that's great, because when you're doing that lift to get that air chord down, what's kind of supporting is your thumb up here, because it's coming from up here, you're lifting it, and it's down here, So it's like that. So your thumb is kind of keeping it in place. Your thumb and this part, I like to use, because remember I said, form your bar chord like that. So when you're forming your bar chord, that's what's kind of holding it in place. is like you're sliding it with that main knuckle.
So Bello just said like
okay.
when they move from A to C sharp minor 7, their uk goes forward.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we're just talking about. So because you're forming it from the bottom, when you lift up, you're actually still holding it and you're sliding down here with that main knuckle, or underneath that main knuckle, whatever is more comfortable for you folks. Keeping that thumb back here. So up here. Okay, so try that switch here and see if you can like.
No, well, I always use this part of my hand.
Oh yeah,
to push up.
Push up.
Yeah, cause if not, it feels like the
ukulele is going down.
Yeah, so I use like that part of my hand to push up, and then I
this
move
part of his hand
to I move to the next chord by just kind of like pushing up. So it always goes like this, like from here to that. Like
also using your
this
part right here to keep it in place.
Yeah,
that's another way too.
I kind of use that, but it looks like you're using this part of your.
I'm using this. Yeah, I'm using this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we mentioned earlier, to form your bar chords, like start from the bottom and then up. So if I'm going from here and I'm gonna form my bar chord, I'm gonna slide.
Yeah, just slide that
slide
finger
from the bottom here.
But,
so I slide my finger.
But I use this part to slide.
Yeah. So Aaron uses this, to just kind of support it.
Yeah.
And then to go. So he uses this part of his hand. So it's totally up to you folks and what you want to do. But for myself, I like to use that since I'm forming my bar chord from the bottom up. So just kind of sliding it, using my pointer finger as kind of
like a guide,
as a guide to keep it from flying off. Okay, so thanks for the question, Bella.
I think like it sounds like she might be, or she or he might be pushing too much forward with their thumb.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like so, you're not really like when you're switching chords, like you can take your thumb off almost like completely. You want your thumb there, but you're not pushing forward with it at all.
Oh, she said that works. So either Aaron's way of doing this or my way of pointer finger. The concept behind it is the same. It's just kind of using the bottom part of your neck to just kind of keep it in place, and you're sliding on the bottom of the neck to keep it in place, so that you're not completely lifting off on your fingers.
It's like pretty rare for you to not be touching
the
neck with like any part of your hand, right? Like you're always want some kind of contact with it.
I was gonna say earlier that like I learned how to play guitar too. I wish, and guitar chords, since we have since they have 6 strings, it's like you use your whole finger, whereas ukulele we pretty much use from the knuckle up. Sometimes with people with smaller fingers they go beyond that, but it's not really necessary. So when when I was learning bar chords on the guitar, people always taught me the F chord first. But it's like, why wouldn't you teach somebody like the F sharp minor chord to just get that down and then this? That's why I started to approach ukulele this way, or ukulele 101 this way, where we're just kind of showing that one and then we build up on that.
Yeah, it seems like I can see why people would teach the F chord first, because then like from there it's like, oh, you can play any chord.
Yeah, you can play this.
But then like if you don't get the bar first, it's like you can't play it at all. So,
so I'd rather play something than not being able to play it. Okay.
I was gonna say when you're switching from A to C sharp minor, it seems like even though you don't really use like your middle finger to like do that full press, it seems like you get your finger like it's like you're getting your fingers closer together, and it's like just in case like you feel like you need to do that, like so it seems like that seems like a good habit to build, like even though you're not gonna use your middle finger, right, like to push down on your pointer finger, you might want to still do it, like still have it as a backup, and I guess like that's when your finger gets tired, you can use it, right? So
good. So let's move on. We have a couple more chords for you folks to work on. So next up is an F sharp minor chord. Honestly, it just pretty much goes from your A chord, so you know how to play your A chord. We're just adding that E string 2nd fret with our ring finger, like so. And with our D chord, your ring finger kind of stays there, Pointer finger goes on the top string, G string 2nd fret, middle finger on the C string 2nd fret. So for this, just like with the E7, you know, because we're playing more than one finger on that one fret, we like to just kind of swing our wrist back this way to give more room to our fingers so that the 3 rainbows playing those notes are, you know, have room to stretch out, basically. Have room to play what they need to play. So our even more chords is F sharp minor and D. So today we learned A, C sharp minor 7, B minor 7, E7, F sharp minor, and D. So, you know, by adding F sharp minor and D, we can play a lot of songs already at this, at this point. Because you can play, Drop Baby Drop, you can play Honey Baby, you can play Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton. With the F sharp minor and D, you can play even more songs. You can play this, honestly, about 1 million songs with so if you do the chord progression of A, F sharp minor, D, then E7, that's pretty much every 50s song ever made. Oh no!
Was that Muppet Baby?
No, I just don't want to, I don't want to go towards copyright, so I had to change the melody line a little bit.
Isn't that song called "Don't Sue Us, Please"?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
nondescript song.
And Kahai is cool. So there's a lot of different sounds you can play with A, F sharp minor, D, and E7. If you want to add that C sharp minor 7, B minor 7, it makes it even more. It makes it even more songs that you can play. And if you add in your your G with your C, so you can do G, B minor, C, and D. That's also another another thing. G, B minor 7, C, D. That's another one. So at this point, you guys know a variety of chords to play. Pretty much, pretty much a lot of the beginner songs that we have here in Ukulele Underground. Okay, so from here, if you guys master these chords, if you guys want more practice, with these chords, we do have Essential Chords course over on UU+. So at this point, you can take a look at that. And and learn more of the essential chords that you would need in order to play pretty much anything, or a lot of the basic songs that we offer on UU, or just in the world basically. Like you can go and look up your favorite songs online and see what the chords are to that, and a lot of them will have the chords that you've just learned. Okay, so let's see here. Any questions?
Not from our chat, or yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you play we can talk about the names of the songs, right? We just can't play them.
You can do Stand By Me.
Yeah,
with
what I was
the
gonna
A,
ask.
F sharp minor, D, and E7. You can play Stand By Me.
And then earlier you're playing the chords for
Your Mind,
or Your Mind.
Okay.
And then Brown Eyed Girl, is that right?
You could also do Brown Eyed Girl in A if you want.
Or I think aren't the chords like G, C, D?
Huh?
Aren't the chords for Brown Eyed Girl?
Yeah,
G,
that's
C?
right. G, C, D. Dun, 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 dun. We're just playing chords. It's not Brown Eyed Girl. Okay. Yeah, it's not. It's Blue Eyed Person.
Yep. Blue-eyed female.
Blue-eyed female. So you can learn that as well. So there's a lot of songs that kind of open up by learning these chords that you just learned today, and combining those with the chords that you've learned in the past. You've got a lot of things to play already, or a lot of songs that are available to you. So if we take a look, these are some chord progressions that you can do with just the chords that you learned today. Okay, so you can do A, F sharp minor, B minor. So you can work on that. You can do A, F sharp minor, and D. You can do D, A, B minor. You can do F sharp minor, B minor, C sharp minor, A, F sharp minor, D, E7. That's the one that we showed you folks earlier. And then the A, C sharp minor, B minor, E7 for that's a drop baby drop, honey baby, whatever kind of, whatever else chords that we went over today. Okay, so yeah, I mean the thing that I want you guys to practice most is probably like A, F sharp minor, D, E7, and then practice that B minor 7, C sharp minor 7 like bar chords for now to kind of prep you to get bar chords later down the road, or like a harder bar chords later down the road. Okay, so let's see here. So for your homework, of course, I want you guys to practice the chord progressions, any kind of chord progressions you can come up with. So these chord progressions right here that we showed you earlier, these are, these are great to start with, but you can also mix in the other chords that you've learned. Okay, so just like G, C, G, D, that's a good one. You can do C, G, A minor, maybe B minor 7s. You can do that. So add on some of the chords that you learned today with the chords you did before. So these are just suggestions, but experiment. What sounds good and what doesn't sound good next to each other. So you're gonna learn that like C and A is probably not gonna sound good together. So you play A and then C. Or I don't know, maybe it sounds good to you or whatever, but sometimes it doesn't sound good, but you might be able to write a song that's A and C. So just kind of experiment, see what sounds good and what doesn't sound good to you, okay? So that's your first homework. And of course, like I mentioned, mix in the other chords that you learned earlier in the weeks, or whatever you guys have picked up maybe just by, your self-studies, If you're doing self-study and learning chords on your own, you might want to mix up some of these chords that you learned today and how to hold these new chords with chords that you already know, okay? And if you want, you can post it on the UU Plus forums, and you can receive a student evaluation for the week. All right? Anything else that you guys want to add on, or any questions that anybody may have?
For UU Plus members, there's actually a function on the song library where you can organize it by key.
Yeah,
so like
cool.
If they want to do that, like
key of A,
key of A, and then key of G too.
Maybe like, G. Did they? I don't know. I'm not sure if they learned E minor. Did they learn E minor?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I think E minor is the only one. If you guys want to do G, let's learn E minor really quick. So pointer finger, if you guys haven't yet, pointer finger A string in the 2nd fret, middle finger E string 3rd fret, and ring finger in the C string 4th fret. But if you guys watch any of the lessons, if the E minor seems to pop out of nowhere, the lesson should have a tutorial on how to hold that E minor. Okay, so you
Devin
can
just said,
yeah.
He thought that we did.
Yeah,
minor,
yeah.
so.
Okay. Yeah, just
okay.
okay. I just wanted to make sure because that was I was put on the spot. I'm like, oh, I can't check right now if we did. But a lot of the songs, basically, if you if you don't really mind not doing the picking, you can still play the song. You can still strum it. There's like rolls and stuff. We'll learn chunks later, but if there is a chunk there, you can just substitute a down strum for the chunks. So if you don't have to do the chunks for now, you can take whatever song that you want and pretty much learn it at this point. Okay, as long as it doesn't have like something E or like B flat or anything like that. But we'll get to those very, very, very soon. I think in the next week or two, we're going to be getting to those chords as well. All right. So on the next episode, ear training for rhythm. So I did mention that you guys can go over and learn a lot of songs on Ukulele Underground already. But what I want to do is I want to go over the strumming patterns that work next week. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be listening to some of the stuff that I've recorded, and I'm going to be I'm going to have you guys kind of listen in and break down what kind of rhythm we're going to be using and what kind of strumming pattern that can work for that particular song. Okay, and we're going to be listening to the tempo. We're going to be recreating the rhythm with just one instrument. So with just our ukulele, we're going to take stuff like maybe there's drums and bass and guitar, but we're going to be try to do that with just our ukulele. Okay, so we're going to be training our ear for rhythm this time. Back then we were training our ear for for melody lines and notes and stuff, but this time we're going to be doing it for rhythm. Okay, so that's what we're doing for next week. Anything else you guys want to add?
Nothing from the Plus chat. Is there anything from YouTube that anybody asked questions? No.
No. Okay, so if nothing else, Thursday live lessons is going to be going on today, and is going to be at 2:30. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. Thursday live lesson at 2:30 for all of you UU Plus members. There's going to be further discussion on things that we covered today and any emails that you guys might have. So if you guys are interested in watching Thursday live lessons, you can sign up for UU Plus over on ukuleleunderground.com. We not only have Thursday live lessons, we have Thursday live lessons not just for 101, but we have them every single week that we're available. We do Thursday live lessons, kind of an state of UU address. If you guys have any questions or suggestions or comments, anything like that, we answer them all on the Thursday live lessons. And if we don't already answer via email or anything like that, but we have tons of content. We have we have like UU Plus solos. You can do solo stuff on the ukulele, and many, many more. We have guest instructors and everything. Okay, so hopefully I will see you folks on the Thursday live lesson. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Aloha Friday live jam. All right, so have a great one, and I'll see you folks next time. Aloha.